So we are continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 1. So let's read the translation, before that the Sanskrit, and then jump into the purport. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, can everyone see on the board? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yato anvayad itaratas chartheshva abhignya swarat. Tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejovari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo shmrisha. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Janmadasya yatonvayad itaratas charteshva abhigna swarat. Tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejovari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra tisargo misha. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Since we have said it so many times with the previous speakers, we will request now devotees to say. Janmadyasya yatonvayad itaratas charteshva abhignya swarat. Tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejovari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Ladies, Matajis. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you. Translation. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So we are in the middle of the purport, which goes like this. So listen up, because it's a really long purport. And every paragraph is very, very powerful. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the Swarup of the Lord, manifested by his internal potency. And this potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested the cosmic world, which is within our experience. Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear distinction between the two in this shloka. Sri Vyasadeva says herein that the manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there is no actual water. There is only the appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. The manifested cosmic creation appears as reality, but reality of which this is but a shadow is in the spiritual world. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not the material sky. In the material sky, everything is relative truth. That is to say, one truth depends on something else. This cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with his transcendental paraphernalia. Next paragraph. The chief engineer of a complicated construction does not personally take part in the construction, but he knows every nook and corner because everything is done under his direction. He knows everything about the construction, both directly and indirectly. Similarly, the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme engineer of this cosmic creation, knows every nook and corner, although affairs are being carried out by demigods. Beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, no one is independent in the material creation. The hand of the Lord is seen everywhere. All material elements as well as all spiritual sparks emanate from him only. And whatever is created in this material world is but the interaction of two energies, material and spiritual, which emanate from the absolute truth, personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. A chemist can manufacture water in the chemical laboratory by mixing hydrogen and oxygen. But in reality, the living entity works in the laboratory under the direction of the Supreme Lord. and the materials with which he works are also supplied by the Lord. The Lord knows everything directly and indirectly, and he is cognizant of all minute details, and he is fully independent. He is compared to a mine of gold, and the cosmic creations in so many different forms are compared to objects made from the gold, such as gold rings, necklaces, and so on. The gold ring and the gold necklace are qualitatively one with the gold in the mine, but quantitatively, the gold in the mine is different. Therefore, the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different. Achintya bheda bhed tattva. Nothing is absolutely equal with the absolute truth, but at the same time, nothing is independent of the absolute truth. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are all gathered together to hear the nectarian words of the Srimad Bhagavatam emanating from the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada, who has given us all this wonderful transcendental knowledge to purify us, to enliven us, to enthuse us, to encourage us in devotional service. So what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Is a ripened fruit, which is coming down in the disciplic succession, like a mango that is plucked carefully and handed down from one person to another. This has come down in the disciplic succession and is none other than the literary incarnation of God Krishna. Therefore, by systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam, one will come to know Krishna. The canto 1 and 2 are considered the lotus feet of the Lord. And slowly progressing like that, the 10th canto is the smiling face of the Lord. So we cannot jump straight away to the 10th canto. We must go step by step. So therefore, it is described as the Swarup. So, what is this external energy, internal energy? What is this being spoken over here? So, the internal energy of the Lord produces the spiritual world. Not produces. The spiritual world exists eternally because based on the internal energy of the Lord. But this world, which is made up of the external energy, called the Bahiranga Shakti, is manifested, maintained, and then destroyed again and again and again. Bhutva praliyate. Again and again it is manifested, again and again it is destroyed. So this external manifestation is based on the external energy, as we said, Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is the internal energy of the Lord. And who are we? The marginal energy. The living entities are the marginal energy. And Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful description. Just on the shores, like on the beach when you go, sometimes the sand is covered by water, right? And sometimes when the water recedes, the sand is exposed. So similarly, the living entity can either be in the external energy when he is influenced by Maya, or he can be in the internal energy when he is engaged in loving, devotional service to the Lord. And when he is in that energy, then he is happy because this is his natural position. The external energy of the Lord manifests this cosmic world, but it is, as it is described over here, it is temporary, it is illusory, and it's a reflection of the spiritual world where reality exists. Here everything is relative, because one thing depends on another thing, depends on another thing. But in the spiritual world, everything is an individual and alive. Mother Yashoda tells the rice, "Rice, cook yourself for Krishna." And the rice gets cooked for Krishna. The birds, the bees, the stones, the rivers, the trees, the grass, everything is a living entity, eternally serving Lord Krishna in complete bliss, in complete knowledge of Krishna as the supreme absolute truth, the supreme lovable entity, the supreme worshipable object. So this is how it is in the spiritual world. But here in the material world, it is the opposite. I am Krishna. I am the controller. I am the enjoyer. I am the proprietor. Bow down to me. Yes? This is the mood with which we have come into this material world out of envy of Krishna. And therefore we are struggling so hard to conquer over material energy and failing miserably. Every time we try to become Krishna, we fall flat on our face and embarrass ourselves. Right? So the more Krishna conscious we are, the more sane we are. The less Krishna conscious we are, more insane we are, because we are not understanding the reality. So living entity struggles in this material world, influenced by the three modes of material nature, just like we heard yesterday. Again and again, suffering, repeated birth and death, trying to conquer over material energy. And finally, when he gets frustrated, has had enough suffering, he calls out, "Krishna, God, help! Why am I suffering? Atata Brahma Jigyasa. Where is the end to this suffering? When will I stop suffering?" And that's when spiritual inquiry begins. Why am I suffering? Who am I? Where is God? What am I supposed to do in relation to God? So when Krishna sees that the living entity is really yearning for him, then he sends the spiritual master to give the true knowledge of the scriptures, of the spiritual world, of who he is, of who God is, and what is his relationship with God. Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. What is the meaning of Sambandha? It means relationship. This is the first step to understand who we are, who is God, and what we are supposed to do. What are we supposed to do? Engage in loving devotional service to him. And when we do that, we come under the internal energy of the Lord, Ladini Shakti, and it is very blissful. But because we are not so inclined, we go in and out. Srila Prabhupada would say, most of the time they are in Maya, sometimes they fall into Krishna. So this is our position. Like I said in the beginning, the waters sometimes cover the sand and sometimes the water recedes. So therefore, we are constantly in between. We are most of the times in Maya, sometimes we fall into Krishna. So this Maya energy makes us think, I am Krishna. When the reality is, I'm just a very tiny little particle, 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. How small I am in reality. So tiny. Can you see the tip of a hair? It is so small that we cannot even see it. Now divide that into 100 parts. Take one part. Divide that into 100 parts. That's the size of the soul. But it is so powerful that it energizes the whole body. More brilliant than 1,000,000 suns. Very powerful. gives us consciousness. What is the symptom of life? Consciousness. So human form of life means to revive our consciousness, real consciousness. Come to Krishna consciousness. And not get dazzled by the external energy of the Lord. And what is this material world made of anyway? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. Bhumi, apo, nalo, vayur, kham, buddhir. I'm sorry, I forget that. 7.4 and 7.5. Let's look at Bhagavad Gita so I get it. Can you hand that Bhagavad Gita to me, please? Bhumi, apo, nalo, vayu, kham, mano, buddhir, evacha. Yeah. 7. Okay, 7.4 and 7.5. Krishna gives a description of, Bhumi apo nalo vayu kham mano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritir ashtada. Earth, water, fire, air, intelligence, mind, intelligence for earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. All together these 8 constitute my separated material energies. And besides these, O mighty armed Arjun, there is another superior energy of mine which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So the jiva is struggling constantly. Mamai vamsho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha. They are eternally my fragmented parts, but they are struggling very hard with the mind and senses. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. So Krishna is very merciful because he wants us to come back and he wants us to actually be happy. He's sending the great sages and saints to teach us what is this world and where am I supposed to be? What is the spiritual world? Why all these things are happening? And he teaches us through the pure devotees about the nature of this material world where water is seen but it is like a mirage. Another very vivid description is the donkey and the carrot and the stick. You've seen that description? The donkey, he thinks, now I'm going to get the carrot. Just now. Just one more lunch. I'll get the carrot. I'll enjoy the carrot. And this is how we go on in this material world, struggling for a drop of happiness here, a drop of happiness there, drop of happiness there. And it goes on like this. Because the conditioned soul is so bewildered by the material energy, he's constantly trying to enjoy the material energy. And it is only by the mercy of the Lord's pure devotee that we are released from this illusion. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. And that seed of devotional service, when it is planted in the heart and the watering process continues, slowly, slowly we begin to understand what is what. Prabhupada says, devotee understands what is what. So when even Brahma, Shiva, Chandra, Varuna, the great demigods can be put into illusion, what about us? Remember in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, Brahma thinks, this little boy Krishna, he cannot be God. A tiny little boy holding a lump of, curd rice and he's playing with the boys. He cannot be God. I'm going to test him. I'm going to play a trick on him. So what does Brahma do? He steals the calves. He steals the cowherd boys and puts them in a cave. And Krishna realizes, and what does Krishna do? He manifests all the cowherd boys. He manifests all the calves just as they were. That means exact. But they're all manifestations of himself. So when the cows see the calves, they're just overjoyed. They go running to meet their baby calves. When the mothers and the fathers see the little Gopa boys, what do? They're overwhelmed with love because Krishna has come in the form of the Gopas. So Brahma is bewildered when he sees, what is this? They are still here. He goes running back to the cave. They're still there and they're still here. What is this? He's completely confused. And then Krishna reveals everything to him. At that time, Brahma becomes very humble and offers prayers and says, I was so deluded by my own so-called powers. But who am I? I'm just a tiny little living entity. And who are you, my dear Lord? You are the Supreme Lord. I offer my humble obeisances unto you. And then Brahma prays, please don't let me become puffed up like this. In your next incarnation, please make me very humble. So how does Brahma come in the next incarnation? Haridas Thakur, born in a Muslim family, reviled by both the Muslims and the Hindus. The Muslims don't like him because he is chanting Hare Krishna. And the Hindus don't like him because he is a Muslim. So he takes a very low birth just to become humble. Actually, humility is the gateway through which our devotional service goes on increasing. So until we come to the point of understanding our position, I am nothing but a servant of Krishna. What does Lord Chaitanya say? Gopi bhartu padakamalayor das das dasanudas. I am nothing but a servant of the servant of the servant of the damsels of Raj, the gopis. Take such a humble position. And he is Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Lord. Oh, what to speak of us, right? So we have a long ways to go because we have this nasty tendency to lord it over material energy, and that has what brought us what? Nothing but suffering and repeated birth and death again and again and again. So the man of intelligence or the woman of intelligence thinks, why should I do this again and again? Why should I keep on taking birth, suffering old age, disease, distresses again and again? Why should I not go back to the eternal spiritual world where my place really is with Krishna? Yes? So we all want to go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada repeatedly said, make your life successful. Especially those born in the holy land of India. Bharat bhumite manushya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthak kari karo paraupkar. What is the meaning of that? Those who are born in the holy land of India, in the human form of life, make your life successful and then help others make their life successful. So Loknath Maharaj gives a very interesting definition of what is Indian. He says, anyone who has adopted Vedic culture is automatically Indian. So therefore, all devotees of the Hare Krishna movement have become Bharatiya, Indians. Isn't it? Because what is India? Bharatiya, Bharat, Bhumi, Punya Bhumi, Vedic culture. So whoever has adopted this Vedic culture automatically is given this responsibility. That means Marcel and Thade and Mukunda Prabhu and what's your name? Bew. Bhima. Okay, Bhima. Very strong. Bhima means very strong. And Nataka and Nitya Seva and Narsimha Seva and Prabhu and Doman and everyone here. Everyone. You have become Bharatiya. You have adopted Vedic culture. You can no longer say, oh, no, I come from this country. No. You have adopted this culture. You have become servant of Krishna. Finish. That's it. No excuse now. Yes? Do you think that's a good idea? It's not an idea. It's a fact actually. Okay. So, understanding Vedic knowledge will help us to explain Vedic knowledge and to convince people to take up this process of Krishna consciousness. And in the second paragraph, what does Krishna explain? Srila Prabhupada is explaining, Krishna knows everything. Matta partaram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani ganaiva. My dear Arjun, everything rests upon me like pearls on a thread. There is no more truth superior to me. Bhagavad Gita 7:7, Krishna is declaring. Then again in the 10th chapter, what does Krishna say in the 8th verse? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Which is what all of you are doing here every morning without fail. Huh? Everyone coming, Jai, Shri Shri Panchatattva ki Jai. Singing the beautiful prayers to the spiritual master, Gurvashtakam, Narsimha Puja, Tulsi Arti, then Japa, then Darshan Arti, then Guru Puja. Srila Prabhupada instituted this Guru Puja for ISKCON every day. During Srila Prabhupada's time, they would do Guru Puja only once a year, Vyasa Puja. But knowing our Western mentality of arguing and fighting and rebelling and questioning authority, because that's our Western mindset, We don't like authority. We want to rebel against everything. We think, I'm the boss, right? So, Srila Prabhupada instituted this Guru Puja program every day. Simply for us to understand our position. I am nothing but a servant. My dear Gurudev, it is your mercy that has saved me from the wretched condition I was in. Please help me now to regain my constitutional position and become a humble servant of the Lord. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi dhyayanstuvam tasya yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravindam. So by the mercy of Guru, we can gain transcendental knowledge, we can understand Krishna, we can understand our position, and we can slowly make progress on the path of bhakti to reach Krishna Prem. Adav Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. What is Bhajana Kriya? Initiation, solidifying our relationship with the spiritual master in the form of a commitment. What is that commitment? I will chant my rounds every day without fail on the beads. Soon Tade is going to get initiated, right? Very soon. Nasimha Chaturdashi. Huh? And then, yes, am I right? Let's see, Krishna's mercy, whatever happens. And we make a vow. We will maintain the 4 principles of religion. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, truthfulness by strictly avoiding the 4 sinful activities. And we will engage in the process of bhakti. We will humbly serve the Vaishnavas. And we will follow your orders, Gurudev, in order to purify our existence. This is initiation, bhajana kriya. After which comes the real hard work. Initiation is not like, I've got initiated, I made it, I joined the club, yay, I'm done. No, that's just the beginning. That's just the start. That's where the real hard work begins. That's the difference between boys and men and girls and women. We all have to grow up and become gentle women and gentle men. Right? What is the Vaishnav? He or she is a gentleman and a gentle lady. That means he is perfect in his behavior. This is the definition of a Vaishnav or a Vaishnavi. Bhajana Kriya. Then comes Anartha Nivritti. Under the orders of the spiritual master, we very consciously work on our anarthas and remove one by one all the unwanted things in our heart, which is causing so much disturbance to us and to others. Neophyte means to fight, right? So we cannot afford to remain neophyte forever. Yes, in the beginning, neophyte, okay. But after some years, we have to grow up and we have to take up the mission of Krishna conscious seriously and pull ourselves up to Madhyam. So from Kanishta Adhikari, we have to move to Madhyam. And from Madhyam, we must pull ourselves up to Uttam. We cannot go back to the kingdom of God without becoming pure. It's not possible. So every devotee must humbly strive to keep making progress on the path of bhakti. After Anartha Nivritti comes Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav and Prem. So we have a long way to go, right? We are still struggling with so many dirty things in the heart. We are not situated nicely. We are sometimes in Krishna and most of the times in Maya. So we want to become strong in our Krishna consciousness by taking the words of the spiritual master seriously, by taking good care to follow our vows seriously, to follow the process of bhakti nicely, and become ecstatic devotees in this Hare Krishna movement. Yes? Who wants to become ecstatic in the Hare Krishna movement? Haribol! And this is the way. This is the way to do this, by engaging in bhakti. And Krishna is so merciful. In this age, he has come as Lord Chaitanya. Most merciful, most magnanimous, most munificent, most compassionate, most liberal, most forgiving, most giving, most loving, most everything. Bhaja Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera Namare. The meaning of this is, take the name of Gauranga, speak about Gauranga, sing about Gauranga, worship Gauranga. Bhaja Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera Namare. Je jana Gauranga bhaje, se hoy amara pran re. Whoever takes the name of Gauranga, he becomes my life and soul. Bhaja Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera naam re. Then what? Gauranga bhajile, Gauranga japile hoy, dukhera basan re. Whoever takes the name of Gauranga, whoever chants the name of Gauranga, all his miseries will end. Haribol! Just see how merciful Lord Gauranga is. Dubahu tuliya, nachiya, 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 bedaure. Whoever raises their hands and sings and dances in the holy name of this Sankirtan movement, Lord Chaitanya gives all mercy. So simply take part in this Harinam Sankirtan. Even if you don't do anything else, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya becomes so pleased and he will take us back home, back to Godhead. Hari Bol. So thank you for listening so very patiently. We will open up for questions, comments, criticisms, realizations, anything you like. Actually, there were so many things I had prepared, but I don't know. Lord Chaitanya made me say something else. Hare Krishna. Bhakta Marcel.
Thank you for inspiring lecture. I would just like to ask for some advices on the theme of humbleness. So how can we really become genuinely humble, and how can we avoid acting based on envy when we feel it? How can we remain humble in such situations?
Yeah, we must understand, Prakrite ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer. Let me just find it. 327, sorry. 327. Yeah, here we go. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Two persons are there, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness. Working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there's a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. Because one understands he is servant of Krishna, the other thinks He's the Lord of material nature. This is the difference. So humility means to understand who we are. I am not God. Only God is God. Who am I? I'm a servant of God. So this humble service attitude is what we must try to adopt more and more. It is alien to our nature. Right now, we are not in that mood of servitorship. Why? Because we have been influenced by the material energy for millions of lifetimes. But having come to Krishna consciousness, now we should not waste time. Every moment is precious. Every moment is precious because we never know when the end will come. So, devotee tries their best to practice Trinad api sunichena taror iva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, completely devoid of all false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. So this is the humble mood of a Vaishnav. Every moment he realizes, he, she, when I say he, I also mean she, realizes that I am so small, my dear Lord. You have been so kind, so merciful as to bring me onto the right road back to your lotus feet. Let me take the humble position and try to serve those who are so dear to you. And who is that? The Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas. And when Krishna becomes very pleased with us, then he gives us service to the Vaishnavas. So humble mood is very important in our devotional life because this earns the blessings of the Vaishnavas. This pleases the Vaishnavas, pleases the spiritual master, and ultimately pleases Krishna. That is what we are trying to do. So practice, practice, practice. Practice humility in every situation where the urge to, dominate, control, manipulate, show how smart you are comes. Take that humble position and say, no, Krishna, I don't want another birth. I've suffered enough here. Please let me become a humble servant and come back to you. So practice, practice, practice. As we practice, we will get more and more expert at becoming humble. Now, humility doesn't mean you take abuse. There's a difference. If someone is misbehaving with us, if someone is harsh with us, if someone is emotionally, verbally, physically abusive towards us, then we have to take a stand. We have to have healthy boundaries. We have to set limits. Because if you allow abuse to happen, you're only causing harm to yourself. The first principle is take care of yourself. And you're continuing the harm that person is causing themselves. So abuse is not the same as humility. Please understand this very clearly. No one should take abuse. Zero tolerance for abusive behaviors. Zero. Why? Because we are trying to be Vaishnavas. So in all situations, we have to set healthy limits and serve devotees in a humble mood. But we must understand our position and also others' position. We offer respects to our elders. We offer respects to make friendships with the equal. And we show compassion to the less qualified. So these three levels of devotees, we have to behave appropriately. Towards seniors, we learn from them. We serve them. Right? We make friendships with those who are equal. And we show compassion to those who are neophytes. Is that all right? Anything else? Bhima wants to say something. No? Huh? Shravanam. Very nice. One of the most important, the foundation. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Vandanam, Sakhyam, Atma Dasyam, Atma Nivedanam. So Shravanam is the most important, hearing. When Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was told that Abhay Babu, as Srila Prabhupada was called, is a candidate for initiation, you know what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said? He said, yes, I have noted him. He likes to hear. He likes to hear. So this was what Prabhupada said about himself. I did not ask very much. I was hearing my Gurudev. I was hearing my Gurudev all the time. In fact, when Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj had taken all his disciples to some holy place, I don't remember what it was, which place, but in the evening a program was announced that if devotees want to go and visit some temple, they can go, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj will also be giving a lecture at the same time. Srila Prabhupada chose to stay. He said, I would rather listen to my Gurudev than go to some temple somewhere. So he's teaching us by example. The words emanating from the lotus mouth of our spiritual master are our life and soul. Right? Make the words emanating from the lotus mouth of our spiritual master one with your heart and do not desire anything else. Attachment to his lotus feet is the best means of spiritual advancement. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha. We sing every day, right? In Guru Vandanam, isn't it? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Ye prasade pure sarva asha. Ye prasade pure sarva asha. It is only by the satisfaction of the spiritual master that we can attain Krishna. His mercy fulfills all desires for spiritual perfection. There is no other way. By mercy of Gurudev, we can get Krishna. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, in his series of books, Beggar, he said that it is my spiritual master's prayers. That's the only reason for my success. I haven't done anything. And actually, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj took such risks. He went to USSR, which is communist Russia, went beyond the Iron Curtain, at the risk of his life, distributed books, unprecedented seva. But still he said, it is only by my Guru Maharaj's mercy. Understanding that Krishna is the doer, I am not the doer. Right? Krishna is acting, Krishna is giving the ability. Any moment he can take away the ability also. So we must always be very humble, very grateful, and do the best possible service we can with the best possible attitude. So we have 2 minutes more. Any comments? Any last minute realizations? Or we can stop. Is that all right? Is everyone happy? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Shri Panchatattva ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.